Well, good morning. What's up? I'm just about to start my day. I'll talk about my day. I'm going to talk about some load board stuff. I know everybody really likes looking at the load board, but I just don't have uh, the time um, to record uh, load board footage. A second, I got a lot of creative parkers around here. I was in the last spot, and there's a couple people parked to the left of me. I was in the very last left spot, but that didn't stop other people from parking there. A second here, let me checking out my trailer brakes real quick. I got new loads, got a bunch of drama going on. I don't even know where to start. Um, I'm starting my day at 11:43 p.m. Uh, oh man, where to start? Where to start? Where to start? Let's start with good news. I got a unicorn load. Um, I got a $4 a mile run that's 900 and something miles. So the load I'm on right now is Wagner, Oklahoma to Richmond, Kentucky. It's 744 miles and pays somewhere around 2,400 something dollars. I make like 1,600 bucks on this load. 16 something. What I make on my rate per mile is like this load, the line haul rate pays like $3.24 a mile. What I make per mile on this load, which is my 65% cut plus fuel surcharge, is like 221 a mile. And this is a like an above average load. This is a good load. Not quite a unicorn load, but it's a good load. Um, Definitely an above average load. The load that I just got right before I went to sleep is a unicorn load. It is 900 and something miles, 940, 930, and it's paying um, $4 a mile exactly. 3,700 something dollars. What I make on that load is $2,600, 26 something. I forget the exact amount. My rate per mile on the new load, which is 65% of the line haul plus 100% of the fuel surcharge, is $2.79 per mile. So that's really good. Um, and like it's just like a really amazing load because if you've been watching my videos, I just had my truck in the shop getting my PMs done and getting my APU repaired. The APU is not repaired. The APU is in the worst condition it's ever been in. It's leaking fuel from two places, and it won't run for more than a minute or two before it gives an error that is caused by having an incompatible ECM installed. Really, really frustrated about it. I'll talk more about the APU later. Let's not get that negative right now. Let's talk about what happened. So I stopped to take my 10 uh, because I didn't really want. I was I was a couple of hours away from. I was approaching Rolla, Missouri, and based on my ETAs, it was looking like I was going to be driving through St. Louis, Missouri, during rush hour, and I was like, shit. Um, what am I going to do? I was like, well, I didn't really sleep very much last night. I'm I'm on pace to be way early for my appointment. So rather than drive through St. Louis during rush hour, I think I'll just go ahead and shut down early and take my 10, and then that'll put me onto a night schedule where I'll be driving at night. And so that's what I did. I shut down. Must have been around noon that I shut down, just outside of Rolla. Be, or no, it must have been around 1 p.m. one or 1:30, somewhere in that area. Because at 11, right around 11:15, 11:20 p.m. is when my 10 hours was up, and I didn't get rolling until about 11:40. So I slacked off for about 20 minutes, getting up and about. Um, but second, let me recenter my GPS. I think Rolla is the Missouri town that has a bunch of like 60-mile-per-hour turns in it. So I stopped for the night early. I still had, I don't remember, somewhere around 50, or not 50, but somewhere around 5 hours of drive time left. I could have driven for like another 5 hours, but I shut it down early, and I turned on the APU, and the APU shut off with an error within, a minute or two of turning it on. I'm like, what the hell? So I tried it again, and it did the exact same thing. And I called up the place that just worked on my APU and told them what was happening. I was like, is there like anything you can think of that you didn't reconnect that I can look at? And they said, no, I reconnected everything. And they told me to check and see what the error code was at the unit, because the control panel in here just tells you basically there's an error. I mean, it'll give you a rough idea of what the error is. Um, but to get the actual error, you have to go look at the unit. So I had to go, take my fairings off and uh, open up the unit and everything, the APU, and take a look to see what error code we were getting. And we were getting an oil error code, so it was not reading that it had an adequate oil pressure or oil in it. I don't know how it detects the oil, but it was basically reading that there was not oil, not enough oil. And the ECM that they installed was not the correct ECM for this, but they said it should work. Whenever they were talking about it, they were telling each other that the ECM that they were about to install in my unit had different wiring for the oil. So I'm like 100% certain that the oil issue that we're having that's shutting it off is due to the ECM being incompatible with the unit. So anyway, and what pisses me off about it is every issue that I just had with the unit, I told them about when we were at the shop getting the APU worked on. So I questioned the ECM because they thought, so after they put the APU together, I experienced some issues. And then we went back out troubleshooting it, and they thought the issue was the ECM. So they swapped out the ECM with a different one, and there was no change. So then they thought the issue was caused by a solenoid. Well, they replaced the solenoid and it fixed the problem. And I asked them if they should switch the ECM back to the correct one, and they said, no, 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 the one we put in there will work fine. It's actually newer. It's better than the one we took out. I was like, all right. But I thought you said that it was wired differently. He said, no, no, it'll work great. I'm like, okay. Another issue, two issues that I called out was one, I pointed out that there was fuel leaking from my tank. And they dismissed that, and they said, yeah, like, not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. Um, if it keeps on doing it, then, like, it just pisses me off. Like, there's fucking fuel leaking from my tank after you guys were working on it, and it's at the connector. The APU has its own little, like, uh, hole that's cut in the fuel tank where it sucks fuel out of the tank. That's where it's leaking from. And it was after they swapped out the units, it started leaking like that. So they pulled on the hose or bumped it or something whenever they were swapping the units, and either damaged a hose or damaged a connector or something in the tank. But now it's leaking from my main tank at that spot, and I pointed that out to them, and they were like, "Yeah, blah blah blah, what the fuck ever, just roll with it." If you notice it's basically they said that maybe it'll fix its fucking self or something, and that, like, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And then another thing that I pointed out while we were there was that there was a ton of fuel at the front of the unit, all over the lines, and just the front of the unit was really wet with fuel. And I pointed it out, and I said, "Is that from you priming the engine? Did fuel leak all over the place, or do we have a leak up there?" And he said, "No, no, no, that's from me priming the engine." I'm like, all right. Well, none of that ended up being true. The ECM doesn't fucking work. There's a fuel leak at the front of the APU, and my fuel tank is leaking. So I called them up, told them about all this shit, and I've been really nice with them up to this point because they ruined my last APU. And they basically said that it was, a previous issue. Um, the head gasket's been blown this whole time. No, the head gasket blew because it overheated because they didn't drain the air out of the lines properly, and it ruined my engine, and they had to replace the whole damn engine. That's what they just did yesterday, and they didn't install this engine properly. And this engine, they didn't test it. They didn't troubleshoot this engine. They just slapped it together, and it started. And they said, "You're good to go." We didn't try turning on the air conditioner. We didn't let it run. Nothing. Like, within 30 seconds of it starting, they said, "You're good to go." And when it started, they didn't even have, like, the casing off of it to see if there were any leaks or anything while it was running. It was fully put back together whenever I started it, and they just said, "Send it." So I'm really fucking pissed off right now. I'm not gonna pay them a penny to fix all these problems, because I just paid them $1,700 to do all this shit, and they fucked all this shit up. I'm really pissed off about this. But anyway, enough about that. Let's stop going down that rabbit hole. I've made lots of videos about the APU repairs. I've spent up to this point $5,000 on the APU. So I have a huge fucking problem with the APU. I need to get back to that shop and get them to fix all these problems. I need to get them to reinstall the original ECM for my unit, the new APU that's in here now. They need to install that ECM in here. What's the deal with this guy? Is he just coasting the shit out of the downhill? Because I've been catching up with him, and now it looks like he's going faster than me. Now I'm catching up with him again. I think he was just coasting the shit out of the downhill. 65-mile-per-hour gang. They do coast the shit out of some downhills. I've seen the 65-mile-per-hour gang get up to 85 miles an hour downhill. But, so I need to get back to the house. I'm really pissed off about that because I had an above average load getting me to a good freight market, and I was planning on setting in this freight market until I got a unicorn load, hopefully a really big load, hopefully something to like Southern California, um, paying, $6,000 or more, and then I could hopefully get a load coming out of Southern California paying like 8 grand, or maybe even Northern California paying, $8,000. Um, those were my hopes and dreams, but because of this damn APU, I'm now looking for uh, a load to get back home again. So I spent the first 2.5 hours of my 10-hour break looking at the load board. 2.5 to 3 hours. And I was drilling through everything I could to try to find a load to get me back home. And I was trying to find somewhere I could actually make some damn money, because it's easy to get where you want to go, but it's not easy to get where you want to go and make money. And like, I was looking at all my options. I was looking at, things that would get me straight home versus maybe get a load going somewhere that would get me to a place where I can get a load going home. I was looking at either my next load getting me home or the load after my next one getting me home. I was looking at all kinds of different options, and I couldn't find any unicorn loads. I was basically going to try to fit in a unicorn load somewhere, and then get back to my house. I wanted to make some money while I was out here, and I couldn't find it. So I finally, since I couldn't find a way to squeeze in a unicorn load, I was like, well, then it's not worth it to just keep running out here on just mediocre to above average loads. I'll just get uh, you know a decent load getting me straight to my house. Get to my house in one load. So I found a load going from Indianapolis to Dallas, and I went ahead and requested the load. And um, it was a decent load. It paid $1. What now? I can't remember what the full line haul rate was, but what I made on the load was $1.66 a mile. I think it. I can't. Okay, what I remember was what I made on the load. I made $1.66 a mile, and like 1,300 something dollars, maybe $1,400. It was like 1338 or 1388 that I made on the load. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was Indianapolis to Dallas, and I requested that load. I got that load, and I refreshed the page to uh, to verify that I got the load. And when I did that, a new load popped up on the load board going from Muncie, Indiana to Dallas, Texas, paying almost exactly double that load. That load was paying like 17 $1,800, somewhere in that area. I think it was paying 17 something dollars, 1,700 something dollars. A new load nearly identical to that one popped up on the load board, and it was paying $3,700. So it was paying over double what that load was paying, and it was almost the exact same load. It was Muncie, Indiana to Dallas. So this jackass motorcycle. I hate motorcycles that run their fucking high beams. The motorcycle community thinks that because they have a single headlight, it's perfectly fine for them to run with their damn high beams on. I know because I had a motorcycle for years. I never ran with my high beam on on my motorcycle, but you know, there's a bunch of stupid things that motorcycle riders do, like run with their damn high beams on and try to make their bikes as loud as possible. Blah 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 blah. I never did any of that stupid shit. But anyway, so I sent a message. I said, "Get that cheap crap off me and put this new load on me." And they did. So now I went from like having what I was going to be making this week was going to be about about 20 shit $2,300 after expenses. And when I say expenses, all I'm calculating into expenses is fuel cost and my fixed costs. I'm not counting in maintenance estimations or real maintenance costs. I'm not counting in maintenance. Just my fixed costs like insurance and ELD rentals and shit like that, uh, plus fuel cost. I don't have a truck payment. So it went from a $2,300 a week if I would have had that other load, the first one I selected, to a 35, almost $3,600 a week. And it's not even a full week. It's half a week. It's Wednesday through Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and um, Thursday I'm basically taking off. I'm taking 24 hours off because I'm going to deliver this load at 10 a.m. on the 1st, and my next load doesn't pick up until like noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 2nd. I have over 24 hours off in between the two loads. So it's half a week, and I have a day off in that half a week. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days, and in reality, I'm only working 3 of those 4 days. So a 3-day work week, and I'm going to make after expenses roughly 3550, 3600 dollars. So that's a pretty damn good week. Um, I would love to have been able to do a full week on this because this could have been one of my biggest weeks I've ever had if I would have been able to do a full week. You know, another 3 or 4 days, and I would have, man, I probably could have easily gotten over $5,000 after expenses, maybe six. It would have been somewhere in the area of a $7,000 or higher gross week. That would have been nice. We can hope and dream one of these days we're gonna get rid of all these mechanical issues and just be able to drive without putting the truck in the shop every other day. But yeah, that's where I'm at with everything right now. Is I'm on my way to Richmond, Kentucky. When I started my drive shift just now, I had 7 hours until I get to Richmond. I'm gonna get there about 4 hours. Actually, well, there's gonna be a time zone change where I'm gonna lose an hour. So with the time zone change, I'm gonna be getting there 3 hours early for my appointment. So I'm gonna. It looks like there's adequate parking. I'm delivering to a Walmart supercenter. I've got shopping carts. Um, it looks like there's quite a bit of space to park behind the store. So I'm just going to park for 3 hours until my appointment time because um, I've never delivered directly to a Walmart store. I've delivered to a Sam's Club once when I was in training, but I've never delivered to a Walmart store. So I'm not sure if they're as strict on appointment times as the distribution centers are. I'm not going to risk it. I have a delivery window and I'm going to wait until that window before I go in there and talk with them. Because if you go in and try to check in before your appointment time at a distribution center, then they'll fine you. I've heard it's like a $500 fine. Like you'll lose $500 on the load. So I hate people that flash high beams. Stop doing that. Just don't ever flash high beams. Day or night, don't flash high beams. Nothing more frustrating about driving at night, looking over in your mirror and somebody throwing their fucking high beams at you and blinding the shit out of you. Surprise, motherfucker. But and since I'm not a 65 mile per hour gang member, I pass a lot of people. So I have a lot of these dumb shits flashing their high beams at me all fucking night long. So we managed to salvage this week, and I think all of the issues with my APU are easily solvable issues. The fuel leaks should be easy to solve, I hope. The only one I'm really concerned with is the fuel leak at the fuel tank. I'm hoping that it's not like, the tank cracked or something like that, or even the actual connectors damaged. I hope it's just like they pulled a fuel line loose or, uh, you know, damaged a fuel line by tugging on it or something like that. I hope it's just a line and it's not like the tank itself or the connector on the tank. Whatever it is, they should be able to fix it unless it's a fuel tank crack. If it's fuel tank crack, that damn fuel tank's going to have to be replaced. And I'm going to get really pissed off if that's the case because um, they damaged it. But the mechanic I talked to, Trey, he's the head mechanic there, and he's the one that did most of the work on it. He said that he's going to get it fixed for me. So I have an appointment for Monday. After I got these loads lined up, I told him I would be there Monday. And, make an appointment for me. And I didn't get to tell Trey that directly. I told the secretary, and I had an appointment last week, and there was a miscommunication. The secretary never relayed the information about the appointment. And when I got there Monday, Trey told me that he wasn't told I was going to be there, and all of his bays were full of trucks that were taken apart. And I was there at 7 a.m. They weren't able to clear out a bay for me to pull into until 1 p.m. So on Monday, they didn't start working on my truck until 1, and they didn't finish until 5. So I was there from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, and then I had to come back Tuesday, and I got there, 7 a.m. again, and I was there until 8:30 p.m. Tuesday. So I was just in Oklahoma City where I live for like 3 days, and of that 3 days, I think I spent a total of 10 hours at my house over the course of 3 days. Because I just went to my house, showered, washed clothes, ate. I didn't even sleep at my house. Um, I just drove back over. After I did all that stuff, I just drove back over to Big Rig Products, the shop, and slept in the truck there. So I didn't really have any home time this week. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a load coming out of Oklahoma City. I don't know if I'm going to try to get something Monday night or Tuesday, or like I'm really afraid that we're going to find out that they cracked my fucking fuel tank or something like that. And I don't want to have a load for like Monday night or Tuesday. I mean, I could cancel the load if I absolutely have to. So, I mean, I'm just going to look for amazing loads. And if I can't find, like, if I find an amazing load that picks up Monday night or Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead and get it. But ideally, I'm going to try to find an amazing load that doesn't pick up until Wednesday or later in the week. That way I can actually do some damn home time. Um, and I think I'm going to go ahead and try to reorder my APU freezer. I tried to order that last time I did home time, and they just took too damn long to ship it out, and I ended up having to cancel the order. So when I get to Walmart, I'll probably put in an order for the APU freezer. I think this guy is pulling the hills better than me, which is, hold on just a second. All right, we are we're back. I just paused it for a second to spit. I'm not sure. Yeah, this guy's going faster than me. Is this the guy that I passed and somehow he's found more speed? Like Rolla had a 60 mile per hour speed limit, but it was only like 5 miles. Did this guy like drop his cruise down to 65 or something for Rolla, and then forgot to turn it up until after I passed him, and then realized the speed limit was 70 again? Or is this somebody that's been creeping up on me for a long time? We're about to find out when he passes me. But this should be really good night driving. You know, basically started my day at about 11:40 p.m. and I expect to get to my delivery at Walmart at 6 a.m. But because I'm going to be in East Coast time zone in Richmond, it'll actually be 7 a.m. there. And then I'm just going to hang out until 10 a.m. and then go check in with their receiving department, let them know I got some shopping carts, bump a dock, and get them to get that crap out of there. And then once they get me unloaded, I'm going to drive over to Muncie, Indiana. Now, here's the thing that sucks. Everyone should be aware that we had new hours of service rules that went into effect yesterday. Well, they sent out a message to everybody uh, yesterday evening, or this evening. Well, yeah, it's technically yesterday because it's 12:18 p.m. now. I don't know. They sent out a message about 8 or 9 hours ago saying that the sleeper split is not working properly and not to use it. And they said that they're actually disabling the sleeper split because it provides incorrect information. It's giving you the wrong amount of hours that you have. Um, so anybody that uses an ELD knows that the ELD tells you like how many hours you have on all of your clocks, how much time you have left, all that shit. Well, it's not calculating things correctly. So they said that they have a high priority update to get that fixed. And in the meantime, until they get it fixed, they're disabling the sleeper split. So if you try to do a sleeper split right now, since it's disabled, what I think it's going to do is it's just not going to automatically go into a sleeper split like it normally does. It's just going to act as if sleeper split doesn't exist at all. And it's not going to tell you that you've recouped any hours, or it's not going to pause your 14 or anything like that. They said that if you need to do a 14-hour split in the meantime, that you'll need to call the safety department and they'll walk you through what to do. That fucking sucks because the safety department is only open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and you usually have to set on hold for like 10 or 15 minutes to reach somebody. So it's like a massive pain in the ass. Like, I guess they think that we just sat at the truck stop all day long and we can just sit there and make phone calls and shit all day long. Well, I can't do anything on the ELD while the truck is moving, so I have to be sitting at a damn truck stop to make that phone call to safety. The truck has to be parked to do that, and it's like having a lot of stars aligned for that. I have to be parked. Safety has to be like there 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they have to answer the phone and like all kinds of stuff has to happen. So hopefully they get this crap fixed. What this tells me is that they didn't whoever the Geotab or Driver Hub, whoever programs Driver Hub, they didn't do any kind of quality testing on it. They had plenty of time to do this update for the ELD changes, for these new hours of service changes, and this tells me that they didn't test the damn updates. This is not a technical issue. This is a programming error. This is like a mathematical error. They input the wrong math basically on it, calculating the hours, so they just screwed up, and nobody really tested this shit before they rolled it out. I wish they would have been able to stick with PeopleNet. I've never used PeopleNet, but everyone I've talked to at USA Truck, they use PeopleNet for a long time, and everyone I've talked to at USA Truck that was here when they used PeopleNet has had nothing but positive things to say about PeopleNet. They all loved PeopleNet. And then when the hours of service changes went into effect, they were forced to switch to something other than PeopleNet because it didn't do something that was required under the new rule changes with ELDs. And they had to switch to this Geo tab and Driver Hub. And pretty much everyone I've talked with at the company says it's a janky piece of shit. Um, the last person I talked with in safety said that um, they had years to perfect PeopleNet, and they said he said that they just switched to GeoTab, and they're still trying to get basic things working with it. They haven't even gotten to the perfecting stage yet, because I think they just switched to GeoTab right before I started. Like, PeopleNet was gone by the time I got here, but I think that they just switched from GeoTab to PeopleNet within a few months of me starting. Because my trainer mentioned that they were able to track different stuff now that they had the GeoTab in there. And I think I might have been his first student since he had his GeoTab installed, because they were tracking individual mileage now that they had the GeoTab. And they couldn't do that on PeopleNet. And we had a bunch of drama with my training because of that. And he didn't realize that they could track mileage like that. That was a new thing with GeoTab, they said. Well, that guy that was coming up on me hard decided not to pass me and turned down his cruise and slowed down. And now he's gone completely. I think he took an exit behind me. This guy is all. You see this? That guy was like 4 feet over onto the shoulder. Unitrans. Una dash trans. UNI dash trans. There he goes again, over onto the shoulder. That guy should probably pull over and take a nap. Or, drunk less. So anyway, I don't want to turn this into a driving video. This is mainly, I wish that I had load board footage to show you, and I'm going to tell you right now that I did record the 3 hours that I was sitting there looking through the load board. But what ended up happening was, on one of the videos, it got interrupted with a phone call where I just paused it and ended up getting on a phone call for like 30 minutes and completely forgot everything I'd done and said in the video. Uh, so it would have been like an awkward pickup, to return to the video. And so I just scrapped that video and stopped it because I don't edit. And then the other one that I recorded, I ended up clicking on a tab in the browser that took me to my Amazon store page that had like my full name and address and a whole bunch of personal shit. So I was like, well, I don't edit, so I'm not going to go back and delete that shit out. So there goes that video. Second, got somebody slow passing me, a little four-wheeler. Excuse me. Man, another thing that really sucks about this is I had my fridge packed. Man, I've got so much good food on this truck right now. I am in it for the long haul. Like man, this truck is so stocked up at this moment. I'm good to go for like 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe not that long. The food won't last that long, but um, I'm good to go for a while. And I'm gonna be going back to the house for like 3 or 4 days or something. So that sucks. I mean, I guess I can eat the food at the house, but that really just sucks. But we managed to salvage the week by making some money, and we'll go back and get this fixed and spend a couple of days at the house. Another reason that I don't want to be rushed and I want to get a load that doesn't leave until like Wednesday or later is so that I can take the truck back to my house and run the APU for like 24 hours and make sure there are no problems before going back out on the road. Because the way this happened last time, I had a load that I needed to go pick up, and like once they finished with the APU, I basically just I had to leave. I had to go pick up a damn load. I did swing by my house, take a shower, and do a load of laundry, and take like a 4 hour nap, and then hit the road. But like I was running against the clock. I didn't have time to go and let the APU run for a few hours to make sure it was working. I want to be able to run the APU, and if I have any issues, be able to take it back over to them and have them fix it, rather than get out on the road and then realize there's all kinds of shit fucked up. I think this guy's going this rest area because he just tapped his brakes to turn off his cruise control, but it's 2 miles away. Feel bad for him. There he goes on his brakes again. Oh man, he's all over his lane. Get in your lane. Get in your damn lane. Son of a bitch. Fuck, man. These damn fatigued drivers, distracted drivers, and inebriated drivers all drive the same way. If you're fatigued or you're distracted, it's the same as being a fucking drunk driver. You're all over the road. You can't maintain speed. You have really slow reaction time. And at night, you run into a lot of drivers that aren't really night drivers, that are just forced to drive at night because they're running against a clock or something, or their load picked up late, or for whatever reason they're driving at night and they're not night drivers. There are a lot of people that don't like driving at night because they just can't see at night very well, or like they can't stay awake at night. They just get too tired. Like if it's dark, they just want to sleep. So there's a lot of people that have, um, you know, let's see if this guy gets in the left lane. Yep, yep, he's going to that rest area. Good, because you're all over the fucking road. It's obvious you need to sleep. I hope he finds a parking spot in there. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not able to. Here's somebody leaving. I'm not sure if he opened up a spot for the guy behind me or if he just drove through there and couldn't find a spot. But I hope that guy finds a spot because he needs to get a fucking nap in. Oh, DriveWise just made a noise. See, they still don't have DriveWise working properly. It doesn't pop up like it used to. The fuck is with this pickup truck? He was flashing his bright lights, and now that he's in front of me, he's slowed down. All right, I got the bypass, which means that it's closed because with USA Truck, we don't get bypassed. Our CSA score is really bad. We're probably on the verge of losing our pre-pass completely because our CSA score was really bad when I got hired on. They talked about it in orientation. They said our CSA score as a company was like 84 or something like that, which is apparently high. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the point system. Yeah, it's closed. Um, I don't know what's really high and what's not. Um, I don't know how bad an 84 is, but it was 80 something, and I think it was 84. But it's gotten worse since then. They've sent out a couple of messages, several messages actually. They've never said, the only time they've ever said what our CSA score was during orientation. All the messages they've sent out since then just say that our CSA score sucks and you should expect to be pulled into every way station. Yay, this guy's taking this exit. Good. That's good because he was acting weird. Yeah, the messages since orientation have just been fleet messages that say our CSA score sucks and we should expect to be pulled into every way station. So we need to. The problem is, like, we've gotten into this self-perpetuating situation where our CSA score is so bad that they're doing a lot of extra inspections on us. And I don't think that a good inspection, like, offsets a bad inspection anyway. So, like, if you get inspected a lot and you have a bunch of good inspections, it doesn't, like, lower your CSA score. Um, it's just all of the negative and, all the infractions, all the violations add to your CSA score, regardless of the number of inspections that occur. So we're in this self-perpetuating problem where whenever you get a bad CSA score, DOT does more inspections, which increases the likelihood that you're going to get more violations. So, like, if you get to this position where you have a bad CSA score, um, then, like, you could get run out of business. Like, it's probably something that should go to court, because it's an unfair system. Because it's like, um, if you do something wrong, they they're going to sit there and uh, have somebody stare at you all day long to catch every little thing that you're doing wrong. And the more things you do wrong, the more scrutiny that you're under. Oh my God, the 65-mile-per-hour gang is putting on a demonstration. They're showing us their true power. I think one of them might be like 65.1 miles per hour, and the other one's 65.2 miles per hour. But yeah, it seems like an unfair system to me that the the more infractions you get, the more they look for infractions, which increases the likelihood that you're going to get more infractions. Because a lot of these companies, if they were inspected, if every single truck was inspected every day, the number of infractions would be astronomical. Because especially if they did thorough inspections, I've seen stuff get inspected, and I knew of violations that they could have, you know, gotten the truck on that they just didn't find because they're not thorough. They're not like they just do a cursory check. It's fucking 65-mile-per-hour, gang. Is this a damn UPS? I think it is. 65-mile-per-hour gang's going down. Yeah, it is UPS. They're going down a hill right now. So 65-mile-per-hour gang's doing like 75 down that hill. Oh, the hill's over. Now they're gonna just drop by like 15 miles an hour. I flashed this one back because he didn't bright light me. UPS turned his lights off and back on. Like, I'm not a big fan of the whole light thing. I know everybody wants to feel like we're all buddies and shit and try to help out, and they feel cool flashing their lights at people. I'm not a big fan of it because we're out here in some really open road. The whole light flashing thing is usually it's for whenever it's really tight quarter driving, like the olden days over in California. It's not like this anymore in California, but 15 years ago when I was driving in California, they were really strict on the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit and really strict about staying in the right-hand lane. So you just had a line of trucks that were riding bumper to bumper in the right-hand lane in California. So when somebody would be passing, there would be barely enough room in between the trucks for a truck to get in. So you'd flash somebody over to let them know they were clear to move in because it was so tight. I don't need somebody to fucking flash me over out here at, 1 a.m. driving across Missouri where there's hardly anybody on the road. It's not tight quarter driving. Like I can see when I'm clear, but I don't know. A lot of people love flashing, so I'm not a big fan of flashing unless it's absolutely necessary, and it's rarely necessary these days. But if you do it, know what the hell you're doing. Don't bright light people. Turn your lights off and on. And if you don't know what you're doing, just don't even bother. It's like not a requirement, and DOT is actually trying to get people to stop doing the whole light flashing thing. because most of the drivers don't know what in the hell any of it means. And to have somebody just flashing lights at you, you don't know if they're road raging or what the deal is. But anyway, I think I should wrap this video up. Um, just a review real quick. On my way to Richmond, Kentucky, gonna deliver a load there that I'm making. What am I making on this load? I think I'm making $1,600 something dollars, like 1650, 1640. Is what I'm making on this load, 221 a mile, and then I'm gonna deadhead 200 miles to Muncie, Indiana, and then set for 24 hours. Pick up a load tomorrow, going to Dallas, Texas. What's hilarious is it's another Chewy.com load, and it's delivering to the Chewy.com place in Dallas that I just delivered to a few days ago. The last load that I took to get home was a Chewy.com load delivering to Dallas. And, that's what I'm doing again, is taking a Chewy.com load to that Dallas distribution center. The hell? They got a lot of construction going over on the left. But that Chewy.com load from Muncie to Dallas, they don't have a delivery appointment scheduled yet. And sorry, just looking at all the construction. Um, it's paying this minute. All right, I'm back. It's paying 279 a mile, and I'm making like $2,600 on it. So the total I'm making is like 40, somewhere roughly around $4,300 gross, and about $3,500 um, net as far as the business goes. And I'm doing roughly 2,100 miles this week. And that 2,100 miles is including my deadhead miles. I have about a 200-mile deadhead to go from Richmond to Muncie, and I had a 160-mile deadhead to go from Oklahoma City to Wagner to pick up this load. So I had a total of about 360 miles in deadhead, and then a 940-mile load and a 740-mile load. Why, Charger, are you just gonna set in his fucking? Why did this son of a bitch slow down? What the fuck is going on here? This dumb shit just passed us, and now he's just sitting out here in this lane. Probably got a phone call or something. But we're close enough to St. Louis that we have 3 lanes now. So we'll go over to the right lane to pass this dumbass. Stupid fucking idiots. Yeah, he's got his interior light on, playing on his damn phone. What a moron. Now he put his phone away and took off. And this big truck to my left is sped up a lot. Like, I sped up. I got my cruise set at 70. I sped up to like 73 because we were going at similar speeds. So I sped up to 73 to get around this guy faster so we didn't drive side by side. And he basically sped up and speed matched me. Like, what the hell is with these dumbasses? This is annoying as hell. Drive through here, all these people. I better end the video before I start ranting and raving about something. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.